Hi everyone, my name is Natalie and I recently started a business called Earth Angel Garden Care. My idea is that I know a lot of people don't have time because they work so hard to actually think about fertilizing, weeding, all of that kind of thing. And even if you do have a gardener, that's not to say that they actually know what the difference between a plant and a weed is. So that's where I come in, and yeah, in conjunction to that, I thought I'd just document the progress in my own garden as well as some of the projects that I'm going to be taking on. So this is me. I live in South Africa, in KwaZulu-Natal, so it is very humid. Today is very overcast and a bit humid, so it's actually a nice day for filming because I don't have the sun beating on me and burning me while I talk to you. So in today's and my first episode, I'm going to be talking about the one area that I've been doing the most work on so far and is taking off really nicely, but still has a lot of work to go. So here goes. So I wanted a pond, and I wanted an area that was kind of like a little magic habitat for me, where every step you take, you've got to kind of take the step and pause and look around you because there's so much to see in the trees, like above you, below you, next to you, at all different levels. So I'm going to start off this. So you walk through here. That's my dog Griffin. And that's Roman. He's a deaf pit bull. He's been born deaf, and that's our oldest girl, Cassie. And you walk through there basically, and then you walk down here and down to the bottom there, and then that is the pond. But as you can see, it's a huge work in progress. So I'm going to take you from the beginning and we're going to walk through. This is the bed with a little water feature before you get to the little entrance. I kind of wanted to look rainforesty, so I've got the philodendron in there. I've got a lot of elephant ears, alocasias, that kind of thing. I have this little guy that's flowering today. Look at that. That is so cute. I'll try to get you a good view in there. That's adorable. I've had quite a few babies from him, or them, that I'm busy propagating. So I might have those up for sale once they've really taken off nicely. This guy I actually dug out from somewhere near a river, and it is just flourishing. I have so many babies there, and he is getting huge. Like, the leaves are so big. If that gives you any sort of size reference. I've got my ficus burgundies, one in there and one in there, and I am going to be cutting those so that they can sprout more bushy once they get a little bit taller, because I don't want these massive just straight up trees. I kind of want things to be a bit more bushy than straight upright. This palm was a gift from a friend, and I absolutely adore it, and it's shot up some new babies around it, so I'm very happy about that. I think this is also part of the philodendron family, and I see it's got a new little leaf, but it did battle for a little while, so I don't know if it was because it was winter or what the story was there, but yeah, it's coming out. There's another little baby that I put in from the other one down there that's coming up. These guys are really great too. I'm hoping she's going to get nice and big. And I've got the arum lilies in there. I've got the ornamental ivy at the back there. And then I've got orchids. So I've got some phalaenopsis. These have all been gifts to me. There's that one. There's that one. And then that little orchid in there, I actually need to research the name on that one. It's got the most beautiful little purple flower that came to me as a slip from a relative who passed away. So that's a very special little piece in there. The salvia I absolutely adore. Like, it's just permanent. Winter does look a bit scraggly, but for the most part it bushes out so nicely, and I mean, that color, you just can't get better. My violas are doing really well. They're coming back up. They did die away a little bit, but they seem to have self-seeded because I've got them all over in the garden coming up in little spots. Like over there is one in there, and I've got some around the back too. So I'm quite chuffed about that. I love to put them in like salads, and they just look so nice for like food decorations and stuff. These nut trees were given to me as well, so I'm just waiting for them to take off nicely. My mint. And then these guys are all going to be for sale in the pots and also in the packets. I'm just also waiting for them to take over, like settle nicely and get some new shoots, and then they will be going up for sale. So these babies are all yesterday, today and tomorrow babies. And then I've got some palms which come from that tree, and then there's some from that one. Please excuse the yard. Anyway, I'm also working on some stumps with lots of orchids, different types of orchids on. So that is also going to be going up for sale once I'm happy with how they look. I haven't decided on a price yet. That's all going to depend. So walking through here, on the right we have the little iceberg rose. It did battle when I first put it in. It had a bit of fungus. Oh, I see my pot has fallen over. Anyway, yeah, so it had a bit of fungus, and I had to spray it with stuff and cut it right back, but it's come back up really well. And I just put a bit of fertilizer in every now and then and make sure I water her, and she hasn't stopped budding. So she's got a bud there. The one we had like quite heavy rains and stuff recently, so let me try and get it to focus. Anyway, okay, that's not focusing. So yeah, one of the buds unfortunately were broken off. I think that's part of the begonia family, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, shame, she's fallen out of the tree, so I need to put her back in. I've got all sorts of stuff in the tree here. Please excuse that. It's like I said, this is all a work in progress. But in here we have a little mini tree bromeliad from my beautiful neighbor. That orchid back there is the same as the little slip that I've got in the other tree, so it's also going to have a beautiful purple flower. I've got some of the old man's beard. I've got some herbs in here, parsley, oregano, and I do have some mint, but I believe it doesn't like to be with others, so I need to actually transplant that. And then I have more orchids. Oh, there's another little mini orchid in there above the herbs. And then I've got all the other orchids on this beautiful piece of driftwood, and then that one up there. So these ones have mostly been bought from a lady that goes to the Shongweni market. I think her name is God's Green Gifts, and I cannot go to Shongweni market without buying something from her because she's really reasonably priced and she has the most awesome collection. There's always something in there that I don't have. So that's a tradition. What else do we have in here? I've planted mint because I kind of want it to grow wild. I love the smell of mint. So like if somebody comes to cut the lawn and they go over the mint and you get that beautiful scent. And just for water, ice, all of that. I mean, mint, you can't have enough mint. So that's why I've actually put it all the way along in other parts of the bed. And then I've got a Syngonium albo in the back there that I transplanted a couple of months, not even a month ago actually, and it's already got a new little leaf coming out, so I'm really excited about that because this has a lot more sun than it was used to. I wasn't sure if it was actually going to make it or not, but it seems to have made it. Yay! That is also an albo. I think it may also be part of the Syngonium. But yeah, you can see it's been hammered there by the sun, so I'm waiting to see if that'll take off. So my whole idea behind these things was to create some structure in the garden because this was a pretty flat piece, and although I have this bush growing here which is going to get nice and big, and the crocus that's going to get nice and big, I didn't have anything else in this area. So I've put some, I think they call it the elephant's toothpick, in the back there. I do have a curry tree which is surrounded by weeds at the moment. I really do need to weed this bed. And then I have these two as some more tall structures that's hopefully going to get nice and bushy and create that rainforest effect. I've got some staghorn in the back there as well. And then this is our wood pile. So from here I'm going to be chopping out some nice stumps and stuff as well to put some orchids on for resale as well. Okay, moving along, I've used a stump as a bench so that I can come in and I can actually sit and chill here and just enjoy the space. I've got a Hoya up there which was also gifted to me. This rose is really battling. So I've got it in another part of the garden where it's taken off really, really nicely. But out of the 9 years that I've been here, it has not flowered once. So if anybody's got any advice, I've tried rose starter, I've done the whole thing, I've tried fertilizing, I've tried cutting it right back, transplanting it, and it's still not flowering. So I would love any other suggestions that anybody has. Agapantha, it's the giant purple one. I've got the Erims, and then walking down, this is, her name is Bertha. She's my big Bertha. I'd been wanting one for so long, and I finally got one, and yeah, she seems to only now have taken over, and I got her probably about a year ago as well. So she really battled through winter, but she seems to now be settled, and I'm hoping that she does well going forward. That is a yellow cymbidium. Something I'm trying is taking those cotton pads and wrapping them around the leaves just to get a bit of extra moisture when putting it on a piece of wood like this that doesn't really retain moisture. And so far it seems to be working. You can see some of the leaves are still nice and green there from the rain that we've had, whereas everything else is still is almost dry already. So I'm hoping that it decides to shoot out a new little shoot, but I'm just going to kind of leave it for a while and see what it does. Then we've got a poor man's orchid, the pink one. That was also given to me. Geraniums, got some of the nice, the big grass variety there. And busy lizzies, of course, they just pop up everywhere. Once you've got one, like, you've got them everywhere. So there's my other giant agapantha. This is actually the mother plant. And I'm so happy it's flowering because I also transplanted it here just under a year ago, and it's already flowering, so it's obviously very happy where it is, so she's going to stay there. We've got the jasmine, again the wild ivy, it's not wild ivy, my apologies, ornamental ivy that's growing up the fence. So I kind of want the whole fence to be covered with the ivy and the jasmine. I think it'll just make a really pretty backdrop. And another cymbidium on that, also the yellow one. And then going to this side, this is the back of that garden. I've got a lot of stuff in here. So here's all the babies. And then that seems to die down every year and then come up in spring. So it was non-existent in winter. I transplanted it just before winter. Got some slips from my sister's garden, some bulbs, and I honestly thought I'd lost every single one of them because they died down and they never came back up. And then in spring they came back up, and I had such an awesome, beautiful surprise there. So they add some really nice color in here. Okay, then in the back here, she's still really small, but I do have an Alocasia zebrina, and she's popping out another leaf. You can see her there. So I'm very happy about that because she also really battled in winter. Oh, I need to thin out these busy lizzies. But here's my Alocasia purple sword as well. These, both the zebrina and the purple sword, get massive. So I've put them in here so they can hopefully really fill out the space, get nice and tall, and create more texture in this bed. And then, yeah, obviously, you know, these are taking over. So I will be repotting some of these for sale as well at some point. Then this beautiful little plant I absolutely adore. It creates the most beautiful color. You can shape this, and it's evergreen. So all year round you're going to have the most beautiful blue little flowers and this beautiful thick lush bush. It is awesome. And then I have this little thing in here, which I got from my mother, and it's really loving it there. I think it's about probably doubled in size and height since I got it. So yeah, like I said, I really just need to thin out these busy lizzies. So I'm going to be having some busy lizzies on sale too. Look, they are really nice as a filler. So if you're looking for a plant that grows really fast and fills out really fast and is a pretty color in your garden, you can't go wrong with a busy lizzie or an impatient. Funny story, my neighbor has nicknamed them Juicy Lucy's. So there's that. Here's the other Zymbidium. Again, I've gone in with the cotton pads, which seems to be working, but yeah, it's an experiment in progress. Then there's the jasmine again, and I think that's also philodendron, but I could be wrong. And then these are all arums in here, so I'm hoping this will be a nice, they're the white arums, so it'll be a nice white show eventually. And then here's another stump I've gotten going, and that's also, it's got a Zymbidium, it's got a staghorn and a little poor man's orchid, the pink one. And this is my other stool. And then we have a normal elephant ear. This is just the average, the one you can kind of get anywhere. This beautiful plant, I think it's an iris, and it is the most beautiful color. I found it in the most unlikely of places, and I just knew I had to have it. So things were in my favor the one day. I had a bit of cash spare, and I went back there and they still had them. They had two, and I bought the one, and I'm really happy I did buy it. It seems to be happy there, so fingers crossed. Now moving on to this beauty. This is one of my pride and joys, and I'm so excited it survived. You have no idea. And it has been like one of my bucket lists, on top with the Monstera elbow. And yeah, she is doing so well there. I haven't picked a name for her because I'm battling, like every name I try and come up with, it just doesn't seem to do her justice. So if you guys have any suggestions, please help me out. Then we have the Colocasia mycorrhiza, this big one in the back here. So she's doing really well. She's put out a flower, 2 flowers. I wonder if she's still there. Let me see if I can get to her. Oh yes, there is one there still. It's just, you'll see she has flowered there. Beautiful. So I think she's really happy in there too, which I'm really excited about. Her name is Harley, after our Great Dane that passed away. So she's doing really well there. And then I've just put in some peace lilies and all sorts of different little fillers in the back there behind the pond, as you can see. And the palm, another nut tree, and then some more poor man's orchids in the front, in the back there. Yes, I know there's a lot of weeding I still need to do, so I do apologize for that. But this is my favorite space right now. So if you've got any questions or any suggestions for me, we're all here to learn together. Oh, that creeper in the tree is, I think they call it a golden shower. It is exotic, so I am going to be trimming it so that it doesn't get any further into the bush on that side, because I like to try and keep things as natural as possible. But the sunbirds love the flowers. So the idea was to try and also cater to all the different bird life that we have here. And we do have a lot of sunbirds. They are the most beautiful things. So yeah, this is my main space at the bottom. It's the closest space to my door, so it's the space that I visit the most at the moment. Thank you for, that's a weird looking little creature. Thank you for coming along and having a look at my first little garden, and I hope you'll be back to see the rest of it with my next video. Please feel free to subscribe and share and get your friends to subscribe, and if you do have, like I said, any other suggestions for me, this is a learning process. We all learn together. I am not an expert. Everything that I am telling you or saying is from my own experience, and definitely if you're in a situation that you really are not sure about when it comes to plants, please consult your local plant expert. Okay, have an awesome day and hope to see you again soon. Bye.